Hi everybody, and welcome to the School of Rocks. Today we're going to talk about lapis. Look at that blue. Oh yeah. It's my favorite blue stone, I think. I don't do favorites very well, so I don't like picking just one. It's not fair to the others. All right, so, and lapis being so blue, well, that's pretty much the name they gave to it, as Lapis Lazuli means blue stone. Lapis is a sodium aluminum silicate. So basically the blue is coming from the oxidization of the aluminum and sodium. And there are also inclusions of calcite and iron pyrite. Calcite is the white that you see marbled through, and there's not much of it. Some of it, see, some has a lot more white than others. And this is a pretty good example of the pyrite inclusions. Yeah, there's a lot of pyrite in this one. And you see this like silvery gray gold. That is iron pyrite, also known as fool's gold. Here's another really good example. Little flecks of the pyrite is usually what you see. A little shiny gold flecks inside of the that's calcite, that white there. And pyrite is a stone that we'll be talking about in a later video. So again, stay tuned for that. Most of the commercial lapis out there comes from Afghanistan. They've been mining it there since 7000 BC. It's 9,000 years ago, and yeah, they were using it back then mostly for jewelry. They've many years ago, archaeologists uncovered burial sites of some Neolithic people. Neolithic being Cro-Magnon man. That was the previous step before modern man, and after Neanderthal. The Cro-Magnon man came after the Neanderthal. And their foreheads shrunk a little bit. No, that's not scientifically accurate, I don't think. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, some of the burial sites they found, people buried with jewelry with lapis, They definitely traveled. Some of the burial sites were in Pakistan. Some were in northwest Africa, like up by Morocco, and up into Russia by the Caspian Sea. And in Egypt, King Tutankhamun's funeral mask was adorned in lapis as well, and that was King Tut, as we call him here in the States. He was around the 1300s BC. So again, about 3,300 years ago. Now, fast forward to the Middle Ages. In the Renaissance period, lapis was very sought after and very expensive. Because a lot of artists, a lot of painters were using lapis. It would be crushed up for pigment for their paints, and so yeah, a lot of Renaissance artists used lapis in their paints. And some other other than Afghanistan. Some other areas where they find lapis are in Russia, up by Lake Baikal. That's heading up towards towards Siberia, and also Chile on the western coast of South America, and the Russian locality for lapis was the source of the lapis that they created. Tsar Nicholas I, when he built the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, Russia, they did a room in malachite, and also one in lapis as well, where the columns were the columns were not solid lapis. That would be excess, and wait, a king being excessive? Anyway, so yeah, so the columns would be layered in lapis, and the fireplace mantle would also be lapis as well, and some tables and such. That's something. The Winter Palace, St. Petersburg, Russia, is something to look up and see pictures of a beautiful, beautiful room. I don't have enough lapis to adorn this lovely space here. And one other interesting little story from days of old about lapis is in the Old Testament. There were accounts where sapphire was mentioned, and historians have figured out that they did not actually know sapphire back then. They had no access to it. So what they were referring to as sapphire in the Old Testament was actually lapis lazuli. All right, so the metaphysical properties of lapis. The lapis helps to promote virtue and spirituality, basically inspiring a higher moral standards and responsibility with your own spirituality. Lapis being more of an indigo blue than a regular blue, it is a very powerful third eye chakra stone, and helps to activate your third eye and boost your intuition. Your intuition and your intellect. And lapis can be used to contact your spiritual guides, and get that much needed spiritual guidance when you're at a crossroads of such. Lapis helps to, because it deals with your intellect, it helps you to be a better student and also a better teacher. Lapis, as you can see from this piece right here, shining off the light from the door. Lapis is a great stone for reflection and self-knowledge. Really looking deep inside of yourself and knowing yourself, finding your inner truth. And as I had mentioned, that it helps you connect with your spirit guides. Lapis also helps you to connect with the divine itself, your higher power, and helps you to find your own will and your own inner power, your inner king or queen. And lapis also helps you to balance your masculine and feminine energies, your male and female personalities, if you will. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining the School of Rock today. School of Rocks. Whoops. Oh, no copyright infringement there. And yes, again, thank you, and we'll see you next time.